I think it's gonna be the biggest fight in the history of boxing because everybody's gonna watch it. A new audience is.
Canelo Alvarez has made one thing clear ahead of his blockbuster showdown with Terence Crawford: every fighter struggles against opponents who can switch stances.
He's a great fighter, but if you look at his career, mention one elite fighter. I just say facts. I don't say anything like I'm lying or he faced maybe good fighters, but there's a difference between good fighters and elite fighters.
Strengthening your neck, and you're so good at riding the punches, right, to take off some of the sting. What was the moment in your career when you knew that you had a special chin?
My training, obviously, but I won't like that. I'm a special.
He admitted that facing a versatile fighter like Crawford, comfortable both orthodox and southpaw, creates a unique challenge. Still, Canelo insists his experience and preparation have him more than ready. With the fight set for September 13th at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, streaming live on Netflix, anticipation is sky-high. Both camps are brimming with confidence, strategy, and bold predictions.
Fighter, you know, he's respected. I'm a fan of Canelo, and like I said before, Canelo is the last of the great fighters that's available to fight. Canelo's at 168. It's a big task, but I'm always up for it. Big wrist, big root.
Much of Canelo's training camp has focused on replicating Crawford's slippery style. To do that, he brought in top-level sparring partners. Chief among them is Jaron Boots Ennis, widely seen as the closest thing to a Crawford prototype. Ennis's ability to switch stances, paired with speed and timing, makes him an ideal stand-in. Canelo also added undefeated Cuban middleweight Yoenlis Hernandez, known for his awkward power and unorthodox rhythm.
Before, I think Canelo's last 3-4 fights, he just got up and got in shape. I think he just got in shape. Right? I think when he fought Munguia, he just had a normal camp. Let's make weight, let's hit the mids, let's hit the bag, let's do what he do. Berlanga, let's make weight, let's hit the bag, let's hit the mids, we're gonna do what he do. This fight, I don't think Canelo's just making weight, hitting the bag, hitting the mids.
Sparring has always been Canelo's favorite part of camp, and he thrives on those gym battles. He believes training with such versatile partners is essential against someone as unpredictable as Crawford. Though Canelo has faced nearly every style in boxing, Crawford's switch hitting brings a different level of difficulty, forcing constant adjustments. By recreating that challenge in camp, Canelo wants to ensure nothing catches him off guard on fight night.
Pretty strong for his weight. How much do you think that strength is going to play a part in this fight?
I don't know, we'll see. But what I know is he's a good fighter, very smart fighter, and very disciplined. He needs to get credit for that, but I am too.
Are you looking for the knockout against Crawford?
I think every fighter is looking for the knockout. If they say no, they lie.
Robert Garcia, one of boxing's most respected trainers and the 2024 Trainer of the Year, called Canelo's sparring choices a masterstroke. To him, bringing in Ennis proves Canelo isn't cutting corners and is determined to be in peak form. Garcia believes Ennis mirrors Crawford's rhythm, versatility, and even body type better than anyone else, giving Canelo the perfect preparation.
Paper, Canelo should win. Canelo's bigger and stronger, and if Canelo lands good punches, I think Canelo could hurt Crawford. Crawford's, first time in that division and jumping 2 divisions where he only had one fight at 154 and didn't look his best either. So there's a lot of questions, about that, and that's why a lot of people think Canelo is going to knock out Crawford, but I'm probably one of the only ones that I do give Crawford a chance. Yeah. I think Crawford could pull it off. Crawford is very talented. He's very fast. He's very smart in the ring. So I think a perfect fight, Crawford could pull off a decision.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I think he could win a decision. I don't pick him. I wouldn't put my money on him winning because it's a very dangerous, risky fight, especially with Canelo being so strong. But Canelo's last few performances, he's looked slow, flat-footed, looking for one punch at a time. And if that's the Canelo that fights Crawford, Crawford could win.
Still, Garcia admits Crawford is a real threat. He noted that in recent fights, Canelo hasn't looked as aggressive, often flat-footed, throwing single shots instead of combinations. If that pattern continues, Garcia says Crawford could steal rounds with his sharpness and ring IQ. But when it comes down to it, he leans toward Alvarez, believing Canelo's size and experience will ultimately make the difference.
Your thoughts on Canelo versus Crawford, highly anticipated fight, quickly approaching.
I know a lot of people are not very excited about that fight, and they think the size difference, huge difference. But Crawford's big, man. Crawford's a very strong fighter. He's a very smart fighter also. So look, the way Canelo's been fighting his last couple of fights, where he's just looking for one punch at a time and maybe not doing enough to hurt his opponents, maybe not doing enough to finish them off. I could see Crawford pulling it off.
Decision.
I think Crawford could pull off a decision because he's fast, he's smart, and he doesn't need to run. He could stay around Canelo and just pretty much focus on winning a decision. Because I don't think he could knock out Canelo, but he could definitely win a decision.
Not everyone is siding with Canelo. Edgar Berlanga, who shared the ring with Alvarez and felt his power firsthand, actually leaned toward Crawford's chances. Though Berlanga was floored during their fight, he survived the distance, giving him a unique perspective on how punishing Canelo's shots can be. He noted how many fighters enter with confidence, only to be systematically broken down by Alvarez.
You gotta go in there, he just gotta fight him, you know what I'm saying? You gotta go in there, I think Crawford just gotta go in there and do what he gotta do, you know what I'm saying? He gotta just be Crawford, show his IQ, show him why he's a two-time undisputed, world champion, and go in there with confidence, you know what I'm saying? That's all it is, it's a big weight difference, a big weight jump, that could be a difference in the fight, because obviously, it's like me jumping up to heavyweight. Obviously, I'm a foot of power, I'm a foot of that size difference, compared to my other fights. So I just think that he got to go in there and just be himself. And I said, if he loses, we'll just all know that, hey, he just jumped up 2 weight classes to be great. You know what I'm saying? It's not, he's testing himself. He's testing himself a great fighter. So, and I don't doubt him. I don't got no doubt in my mind. He's a 2-time undisputed world champion for a reason. So, and I don't think nothing's gonna phase him in that fight. You know what I'm saying? Maybe the power, maybe the size. You know what I'm saying? And Canelo, he's not knocking Canelo out. So, he just got to go in there just IQ.
Would you lean towards Canelo still in that fight?
I got faith in him. I think Crawford could do it. You know what I'm saying? I think he could do it. Just like I said, just the size. The only that throws the fight off is the size and obviously the power, and Canelo's IQ too, because Canelo got IQ. You know what I'm saying? And Canelo fought a lot much bigger guys. So I know the Crawford's power ain't gonna phase him. I know Crawford's size ain't gonna phase him either. You know what I'm saying? So, but for me, I think it's a 50.
Some analysts also challenge the idea that Crawford will hold a clear speed advantage. Mike Coppinger argued that being the smaller man doesn't automatically make him faster. While Crawford is quick, Coppinger said he doesn't have the kind of blazing hand speed associated with fighters like Ryan Garcia. In his view, both Crawford and Canelo are fast, but neither has overwhelming speed. Tim Bradley, however, countered with a different take. He pointed to Crawford's rare gift of photographic memory. According to Bradley, Crawford carefully studies opponents, remembers patterns, and adjusts with precision. He may give up a round or two early, but once he downloads information, he begins setting traps. Bradley believes this unique ability could be the deciding factor against Canelo.
And I was thinking, man, like, a lot of people is making a fuss about Crawford being out of the ring for over a year. I'm not putting too much stock into that, man. I'm not really, Floyd Mayweather's came back from after a year. I remember John Jones, 3 years out of the game, and I know it's a different sport, but it's still combat sports. 3 years out of the game, came back, faced the champion, beat the champion, Crawford took the time to really build his body up, man, the way he needed to build it up. And I like his build because just looking at pictures and stuff like that, man, he put a lot of the weight on his legs. That's gonna help with stability. That's gonna help with punching power. It's gonna help with his ability to be able to take a shot too. He get razzled and dazzled in there from one of them big shots from Canelo. He gonna have some stability. He gonna have a base to be able to keep himself. So Crawford has been working for this for the last year. He's been building. If you know anything about Team Crawford, man, and just anything about Crawford in general, he's probably one of the most disciplined athletes in the entire world. You know, he's a guy that stays in the gym year round. You know, never dull. You know, another guy was Booth. Booth stays in the gym quite a bit too. He does. You know, I hear that from everybody. He's always in the gym. Crawford's the same way. He's a gym rat. Stays in the gym, always constantly doing something. You know, sharpening his tools. You know, working on his craft all the time, keeping a good weight. You know, Crawford in between camps, you know, he'll probably go up about 20-something pounds, you know, but it don't look bad on him. You know, it doesn't look bad on him. You know, when I had ran into him earlier, before this fight even was announced, you know, I would ask him, like, how much you weigh? About 175. Not crazy, you know, not crazy. No, but he still looked good. It was a 175 in shape. It was a 175 in shape. Like, this dude can go run up and down the court, play basketball, you know? He can go out there and play football if he wanted to go play football, you know? Like, he's an athlete, a natural athlete.
Even with so much respect for Crawford, legends like Mike Tyson remain skeptical. Tyson admires Crawford's intelligence and adaptability, but believes size will be the ultimate difference. He admitted that on skill alone, Crawford might have the edge, yet boxing often comes down to physicality. Tyson hopes Crawford wins, but sees the challenge as a steep mountain to climb.
That fight.
Why not?
I don't like that fight. It's just too much weight, you know. And he had a close fight with the last guy he fought, Terence, because this guy was big and he was awkward. He was really awkward. He shouldn't have fought that guy. He should have fought a guy that was come straight at him. The guy was too awkward.
He's herky jerky. Yeah.
Former middleweight champion Kelly Pavlik shared similar concerns. He reminded fans that Canelo has already beaten bigger men at higher weights, including at light heavyweight. Crawford, meanwhile, has never proven himself at super middleweight. For Pavlik, that lack of experience against larger opposition may be too much to overcome, no matter how skilled Crawford is.
I like betting fights or making picks, and I'm usually pretty good on all my picks, even when I had the podcast. But sometimes, because people look for that fighter, that former world champion, and they like want to pick them apart if they get it wrong. This is one of the fights where I want to sit back and watch and not worry about my pick. Canelo is a small middleweight, super middleweight. He just is. But he's also showed that he could go up in weight class, and he's a great fighter. I mean, that's it. Crawford is so talented. He's got so much ability in boxing, his boxing ability. And he's a bigger guy too. He's almost every bit as big as Canelo, right? So that's what makes it tough. Like, yeah, Canelo's used to fighting guys coming down from 200 probably, you know, at light heavyweight. And Crawford ain't. But it's just too hard to pick on that because of Crawford's ability and boxing skills. I'm not going off of Canelo's last fight. You know, the guy he was fighting was in survival mode pretty much. He was just fighting not to get knocked out. When you fight a guy like that, you're not going to look good, right? I don't care what anybody says. When you fight a guy that's running around trying to survive, it makes it hard. So I don't go off of that, but this fight is going to be interesting. I mean, I would almost have to kind of lean with Canelo, but I'm not making that pick. Just saying, guys, so nobody come at me.
Regis Prograis echoed the size concerns, warning that Crawford might lose some of his key advantages after bulking up. His speed and power at lower weights may not translate as effectively against someone as naturally strong as Canelo. Prograis also pointed out that Alvarez has already withstood elite punchers like Gennady Golovkin and Sergey Kovalev, proving he can handle both power and skill.
I think that Crawford has the ability to outbox Canelo. You got to look at it, and then Canelo's old. Crawford has the ability, but he's small, you know, and he can look bigger in. Crawford could look bigger in the weigh-ins and all that stuff, but it's always the difference. When you get that fight with somebody, you can tell. Same thing with Jamel. Jamel fought him, the twin. He fought Crawford, and in all the stuff, the weigh-ins and the press conference, Jamel looked like the bigger man. You know, his head, his neck, everything looked bigger. But when they got in the fight, you can tell. You can see who really was the bigger man. And I think that's the same thing. Crawford is putting on weight, but it's not weight. Like Canelo had the weight already. He doesn't have to put on muscle. He doesn't have to do that. He's already big like that. But I think that Crawford does have the style. He does have the style to beat him. If you look at the people that beat him or gave him trouble, Irislan De Lara, Austin Trout, Floyd, and Bivol. You know, they gave him trouble and stuff like that. And Skull moved around a little bit too. So I think that Crawford has that. But I don't know how Crawford is going to respond when he gets hit. Same thing with Jamel. Jamel was undisputed at 154, and Canelo hit him and shit. Jamel was like, hell no. Jamel took a knee. You know, so it's a big difference. And Crawford had that one fight at 154, and he didn't, you know, Madrimov would touch him up a little bit. And this is nowhere close to Madrimov. You talk about Canelo. Now, if it was just another bigger guy, I would go with Crawford. But you talk about a great, this might be, I mean, people might kill me for it, but well, not really, but this might be the best Mexican fighter ever. One of them, at least.
On the other hand, former heavyweight champion Andy Ruiz offered a more balanced perspective. While he acknowledged Canelo's strength and physicality, Ruiz highlighted a potential vulnerability. Alvarez has historically struggled with southpaws. Since Crawford can fight comfortably as a southpaw, Ruiz believes that could open a real opportunity. Still, he didn't commit to picking a winner, calling the fight too close to call.
If you were in a Canelo Crawford card, that card would be a million times. It's still an amazing card, but you would have added a lot. Who wins, Canelo or Crawford?
I think it's gonna be a good fight, man. I'm going for Canelo, of course. You know, he's the Mexican warrior as well. And for Crawford, man, you can't neglect him or you can't underestimate him as well. You know, he has a lot of skills, a lot of movement. He's a lefty as well. That's what Canelo has struggled with. I think it's gonna be an amazing fight, man. I just can't wait, and the best man wins.
Altogether, the boxing world is split. One side believes Canelo's size, power, and experience at higher divisions will be too much. The other puts faith in Crawford's IQ, adaptability, and ability to read opponents like no one else. With both men never having been knocked down and carrying legendary resumes, the stakes couldn't be higher. Canelo has called it one of the most important fights in boxing history. For him, victory would cement his place as untouchable at the top. For Crawford, it's a chance to shock the world and become the first fighter to achieve undisputed status in 3 divisions. September 13th promises not just a super fight, but a chapter that could redefine greatness in modern boxing. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Knockout Voyage for more amazing boxing content. Stay tuned for the next big fight.